Welcome to Ask MandR episode 231. This episode is sponsored by Whatnot, who, as I'll explain later, is giving me $1,000 of Lego to give to you. First things first, I got banned on TikTok like a week ago because TikTok says that I'm not 13 years old and that I needed to prove that I was 13 years or older. And so it turns out that years of not growing the mustache has really backfired at this point. And so I really wish I'd kept that ugly, terrible mustache because the TikTok couldn't have made the mistake that I was 12 years old. I hope I get unbanned. I had like 50,000 followers. I was kind of having fun with it, not gonna lie. There have been a couple of scams floating around lately that you need to be aware of. People have been making fake accounts pretending to be me, responding to you guys in the comments and saying that you've won a giveaway and to text me or send me a message on some random WhatsApp. Don't do that. That's not me. I promise I will never ask you for money to facilitate a giveaway. That completely ruins the point of a giveaway. So please do not respond to these scammers. Just report them. I try to ban them, but unfortunately it's not something I can police 100% of the time. We need to be smart as a community and not fall for these sorts of things, though. This is a YouTube-wide problem and something that they need to fix, and they are very well aware of, and unfortunately haven't fixed after many months. Another viewer, Bradley, said there are people out there pretending to be me, sending messages to people selling like Lego Star Wars sets and minifigs, saying, hey, give me a good deal on this, and I will review it on the channel or something. I will never do that. I won't message you telling you that, hey, it's me, MandRproductions, give me a deal because it's me. Like, that's not gonna happen. So if someone does that and messages you, it is not me. I just need everyone to be aware that there are a lot of scams happening right now, and I don't want people to fall for them because, unfortunately, some people will, and I want to avoid as much of that as possible because it's just bad for everyone involved, except the guy in India making the money. There is no update as to when the ATT is going to be available. Target did have it up for pre-order the other day and said it was coming out on August 1st on Target's website. It wasn't coming out on August 1st. We already knew that, even though Target said it was. Like, that wasn't happening. I have some information from a specific, somewhat large regional retailer that basically said that they won't have it even before like August 15th. They definitely won't be getting it until like the latter half of the month at best, probably more like September 1st. So for a lot of physical retail stores, I wouldn't expect to see anything until late August, if not early September. And as far as online, you never know when the Lego.com site might put it up for sale, but as of now, as usual, we're in the dark. I'm just giving you the best info I have. And this week, I'll be at Brick Fair, Virginia. The public days are Saturday and Sunday. I'll be there the entire time, just free to come up to and chat with anytime you want. Last year, there was quite the line, and at Brickworld Chicago, there was also a line of people, so just be ready for that potentially. On the map, you can see the Star Wars sections, and I've circled the area that I'm going to try to stand around. If I'm not there, I'll be around there in the Star Wars section. But yeah, that's Brick Fair, Virginia. Always a blast. There'll be vlogs on MandR vlogs of the event throughout the coming weeks, so get excited for that. But after what is potentially the longest intro in Ask MandR history, we have our first question from Boba O'Reilly, who says, with the rumors of the AAT retiring, do you think we'll see the 332nd Trooper in the future? Maybe a Siege of Mandalore battle pack? And you are not alone. I have seen a lot of people requesting essentially that the 332nd Trooper show up again in the future, and I've never quite gotten the attachment with the 332nd Trooper, coming from the guy who owns 180 332nd Troopers. But my point is, really, what Lego seems to be doing is doing one clone trooper at a time in different sets. Like, they're never going to do a clone battle pack like we saw in 2007 because they wouldn't make enough money. They can make way more money if they keep separating the clone troopers. That is what they are doing, by the way, if no one else has figured it out. They're releasing clone trooper in a semi-expensive set, whatever. Not a battle pack necessarily for these phase 2 clones. And then they are doing different legions in different sets instead of like matching them together. So essentially, once they do like a type of clone trooper, at least for the last couple years, we have no long-term study on this, but they're doing the clone trooper, 501st, 332nd, the 212 troopers, and the ATTE, Mace Windu's 187th, and then they're like leaving that clone legion behind and moving on to the next one, not to return to the previous one. That seems to be the vibe that I'm getting, so I certainly would not expect 332nd troopers to return. That's kind of why I bought so many now at what is relatively high prices compared to what you would pay for something that comes in a battle pack, because I don't expect them to be in a battle pack. Essentially, no, I don't think we'll see it in a future, I mean, yes, 10 years down the line, whatever, but in the immediate future, next 5 years or so, just I do not expect to see more 332nd Troopers in any particular set. It just doesn't seem like something that is on the table. And my point about all of this and why what I think is important for Lego Star Wars right now is to do things that don't already exist for clone troopers specifically, right? So 501st troopers have been in this set. Why would we waste a future spot where we could get Coruscant troopers, elite squad troopers, shock troopers, regular white Phase 2 clone troopers, whatever it may be, with a returning clone trooper that we just had in a relatively cheap set, $40 AAT, right? So to me, I think it's more important to keep doing different styles of clones, different legions of clones, than to like bring back a 332nd trooper in 2 years, because just my opinion. Don't think we're going to get something like that. Not that it wouldn't be a cool set, but that's where I'm at. Sometimes I don't look at the names, they catch you off guard. Space Jesus says, what is your most wanted set you'd like to see in the Winter Wave? I guess of a specific set, the 212 Battle Pack or Boga Chase, both of course Episode 3 Utapau based. However, what I really want to see return, so that we kind of know that it's going to continue for the foreseeable future at 2 a year, is the minifig packs. I thought the minifig packs earlier this year were somewhat disappointing. Like the Hoth Rebel one wasn't that great, and it's kind of warm shelves a little bit. The clone one they can't keep in stock and they didn't make enough of. But I'd also like to see some concepts for a minifig pack that isn't necessarily an army builder, because I don't think every single one of them has to be, and I think it presents a really good opportunity to do some characters that we don't get too often, like name characters, but in a really cheap way. So I'm kind of hoping for some minifig packs. I'll talk a little bit more about that in my 2023 predictions video later this week. Next up from Daniel, he says, I'm running low on storage space and was wondering whether safely flattening Lego boxes causes long-term damage. And you use the keyword safely. As long as you're doing it safely, you should be fine. I've flattened a few boxes in my time, and I have never unflattened them. And that's where I kind of I feel like if you're going to take the step to flatten them, you're basically taking that half step to just throwing them out. And I really encourage you. It's not something I have the gut to do myself, but please just throw your boxes away. I promise it'll make your life better. You don't need them. As I mentioned earlier, this video is sponsored by Whatnot, and they are doing something amazing for us. This Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern, I'm going to be giving away $1,000 of free Lego. Plus, I'm going to have thousands more dollars worth of rare and expensive Lego Star Wars sets, and every auction is going to start at just $1. The potential for deals is off the chart, and Whatnot is providing all of this. It is amazing. It is literally the most fun way to buy and sell things. I genuinely enjoy so much going on there, interacting with people while I'm selling things, and I equally enjoy being on there when I'm buying things and being able to interact directly with the seller. You can ask questions about the condition of the items right there. It's right in front of you. It's quite an amazing experience if you haven't experienced it yourself yet. So I'll drop my link for Whatnot down in the description below. You'll get a $10 credit towards your first purchase when you sign up with it. And if you're at my live stream on Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern, you could win one of many free Lego sets, plus potentially get some crazy deals on some retired, amazing Lego Star Wars sets. Master Brick says, hey Ryan, I was wondering what happened to Summer Saturdays this year. I remember watching a video about a throwback clone base and would love to see you do something similar to that again. That was genuinely the most fun I've had building a mock. The Summer Saturdays this year just quite simply couldn't happen. I was all over the country. Literally at the beginning of June, I got in my car and drove to Boston to go to the NBA Finals. I stayed there for about a week. After my time in Massachusetts, I drove to Ohio for like a day to check out some cool third-party Lego stores, and then from there I drove to Chicago for Brick World Chicago, and I literally wasn't home for 3 weeks, and then by the time I got home I was only home for another week, and then I went up to Georgia for another week of vacation with the family, and now of course I'm going to be at Brick Fair, Virginia for a week, and between all of that I have had very little time to make the videos that I make normally otherwise. And to prove to you that I haven't had time to do live streams every Saturday this summer, I haven't played Warzone all summer. No video games all summer. I haven't had a summer where I haven't played video games probably since 2004 or 3. It's been a long time. Alexander wants to know what set I admire the most from recent years simply for its design, and specifically one that completes your collection in a unique way. I think the UCS A-Wing is my best answer. It's a gorgeous design, just a great looking ship. And as far as completing my collection in a unique way, it was kind of the missing link of the Tantive 4, the B-Wing, the X-Wing, the Snowspeeder, all of those Rebel ships that we've had. Really, I think we've had all of the Falcon, really the complete Rebel collection since 2007, if you have the early year versions of the sets, and the A-Wing was always just the missing one. So while I don't quite have the display I would want it to be in, right, alongside all the other Rebel ships on my shelves, the A-Wing to me completes that collection of Rebel ships. Woman Time says, you've mentioned getting more of the 2022 12th Airborne Trooper, but is it likely that a figure could return in the possible 2023 212th Utapau sets? Obviously, yes, the 2022 12th Airborne could return in any 2023 Utapau set, and that possibility scares me. However, I don't think that they would include it in a set. Like, I feel like it would have been in the ATT. It, quite frankly, should have been in the ATT, but that's neither here nor there. And in the unlikely event that there are 212 sets next year, because you know how LEGO is, like, we're probably getting the Boga Chase, I would imagine, especially because of that head mold kind of correlation that we saw last week with the Avatar sets, and maybe a 212 battle pack, but honestly, like, I don't know about that one. We'll see. Like, that's the most sets, and I don't know, man. I hope they don't, because I keep buying them. I probably on average spent like $30 a piece. So if they come in a cheap set, obviously that's a bad investment or waste of money, however you want to look at it, because then they're gonna, you know, tank in value, and I'll have bought these figures. But I'm hoping they don't. I don't know. It's not like they can't, because they definitely have the mold still in production with the 187th Commander. Like, it's still there. So it's just something I'm taking a risk on. I really like that figure. I wouldn't mind it to show up in a cheaper, more accessible set, because I would love to get a bunch more of them. It's just that I, in my heart of hearts, don't think that it's going to, and so I'm stocking up on them now so that I don't have to pay like $100 a figure later if that's where it ends up, because LEGO doesn't release it again, you know what I mean? Lando Calrissian says, if any minifig could be remade or brought back, what would you want it to be? I would love to see a remake of Chrome Vader. I would love them to do a modern Chrome Vader with a new Vader mold and everything. That's something that I think would be amazing. Or maybe like a Shadow ARC Trooper would be kind of a cool remake with the modern style Clone Trooper body and leg printing and everything. Like, there's some potential there for some cool stuff that they really just haven't done in recent years. Per Daniel says, here's a hard one, I think. What is the set with the highest number of minifigs per 10th dollar? So we'll just go with like minifigs per dollar, whatever. It's all the same, right? If you want to go with actual minifigures, I think the best minifig per dollar LEGO Star Wars set ever, not adjusted for inflation, are the 2000 minifig packs, where you got 3 minifigs for $5. That's $1.66, repeating, a minifigure. So those are kind of your top minifig per dollar sets over the years, where those early battle packs, those 2000 minifig packs, and modern day, it's probably the minifig accessory packs. That's $5 a minifigure at this point. I guess battle packs are $5 a minifigure too at $20. So $5 a figure is about the best you can get now with LEGO Star Wars, unfortunately, compared to $1.66 or $2.50 or whatever we used to get. Modest Benji says, do you think LEGO Star Wars set designs will ever peak? And if they did, what would happen? So as to what would happen if they peak and they start going down, I mean, people will buy less sets because they're uglier. I don't know. Like, I don't think that's something that's going to drastically affect, because even if designs peak, right? It's not like it's this, like, you know, we started in 1999 where they were really bad and we went up the roller coaster, and then you crash down, right? It's not like that. They would peak and then they would just kind of, you know, flatline up and down a little bit every year. Maybe they'd have a slight trend one way or the other. Obviously that would be impossible to tell because it's all subjective, but I think objective, like, you know, I just said it's all subjective, but I think it's objectively obvious that from 1999 to 2019, designs got way better. But over the next 20 years, I don't think we'll see that same big change in quality improvements. And that's for good reason. Like, they've done a lot in the last 20 years. It would be hard to match that. Lego Stuff 8 said, would you ever want another holiday-themed Star Wars set like the Christmas X-Wing? 100%, dude. That would be amazing, because we get these holiday advent calendars every year, and I hadn't thought of it this way, but they do only produce the advent calendars from September to December. So it wouldn't be unreasonable to ask Lego to make a holiday-themed set and only, again, sell it from September to December. It's like, well, it wouldn't be worth it for the production times or whatever. But the advent calendars do it every year. Of course, the advent calendars probably sell a ton, but I still think it's obviously possible from a production standpoint. It would be amazing. I think the Christmas X-Wing from 2019 is something that a lot of people wish they could have. It's really, really cool. And if they would do like a Christmas TIE Fighter X-Wing combo pack for like $100, right? Because you have $50 and $40 for the TIE Fighter X-Wing already. So just combine them together, do like Darth Vader, you know, figure in Christmas and a Luke Skywalker Christmassy figure all together for this one set. Like, it could be pretty amazing. And so I would love to see an actual seasonal set that everyone could buy, unlike the 2019 one, as much as I love that. And from a collector's perspective, I'm very okay with things existing that not everyone can buy, because it's a fun thing to try and chase down and own. But I also recognize that there should be things like that that people can buy, and I think that would be a really cool idea. Like, and an X-Wing and TIE Fighter, I think, would be the most obvious thing to do for a Christmas-themed Star Wars set, because it's an X-Wing and TIE Fighter. Like, what else would you do? They're not doing a Clone Wars Christmas set. Jack says, why do European boxes not have piece counts? I find the piece count to be very useful and helps me decide on a purchase. And, Lego doesn't want you to know the piece count of sets. That's the true reality. If they didn't have to, none of the boxes would have piece counts on them. Basically, I think America requires that companies put part counts on boxes, and hence you have the difference between the North American boxes where it shows the piece count and the European or any other international country where it doesn't show the piece count, because they don't want you to calculate the price per piece. They want you to just look at the set on the box and decide whether or not it's worth the money to you, because a lot of people will get caught up in the price per piece thing. But then again, that's what Lego wants you to not get caught up in, right? So maybe I'm shilling too much for Lego here. SBC Cheeseburger says, what is your opinion on the new Black Series boxes having no more plastic front and instead having a cardboard box art? Yeah, it's tough. I got into Black Series somewhat specifically because of how cool the boxes were and how fun it would be to collect them. And it's not the end of the world to me, because part of what makes Black Series so great is one of the ways that you can display them is on their side. They all have this connecting tissue of box art that looks amazing when lined up next to each other. And I think in my ideal world, when I move out, that is how I am going to display my Black Series. So they're taking away the plastic front of the Black Series so you can't see the figure inside. Meanwhile, they're leaving the plastic on what is called the Vintage Collection, which are the smaller Lego Star Wars action figures. They won't change that because, the environment doesn't matter enough to change it on those figures, but it does on the Black Series. And it's this so confusing thing. It is so dumb to me. And the worst part about it really is, it is going to exacerbate issues where people go and swap out figures in Black Series boxes or perhaps other action figures lines. I don't know, what is happening with those lines, but I know obviously specifically for Black Series, people could take out the figure and put it back in pretty easily. And now that you can't even see the figure that's inside the front of the box, people are going to be doing it like crazy. People are going to be getting these Black Series from Target and Walmart that were previously returned. They'll open the box and, oh, hey, that's not, the Phase 2 Cody action figure I was hoping to get. That's some crappy Avatar figure that they bought on clearance for $1 and then threw it in there and then returned this. It is a problem. So I hope that they revert it, but it's probably not being reverted. It's one of those things, Evan has the best question of the day. He says, do you have a rough estimate of when your minifigs in your shop will go live? So what I have learned, as I have attempted to set up an actual business, is it takes a lot more than I thought. There are a lot more to it before I'm going to start selling, unfortunately. So I think it will honestly probably be September 1st. I was really hoping and shooting for August 12th, but it doesn't seem like that's going to happen. Of course, I'll announce it, as soon as possible when I know an exact date. It'll be in an Ask MandR. But most of the product stuff is done. I actually have ordered the final versions of this packaging. This is a piece of paper here that's too small. I've ordered larger ones that are going to fit it perfectly. But this is the packaging generally that the figures are going to come in, at least out of the first wave. Obviously, I'll probably make some changes going forward too as we do some exclusive figures, some rare, limited, numbered figures in the future, and certainly some Clone Troopers. The entire first wave is devoid of Clone Troopers. Quite the mistake on my end, I know. But I'm really happy with how everything is coming together. There are going to be more products than just figures on the site. So I've ordered some samples, and I think in the future we're going to try to do a photo shoot for this with me and Sans so that we can have some cool photos for the site. But we have a kit hat, and then you may also like this one. I try to go for some simple designs that have what the Lego Star Wars connection, but don't scream Lego Star Wars. Kind of like this one I still like. I know it's a little bit more in your face than the other ones. The other ones are more subtle, but this is cool, isn't it? So I know stuff like this is one of my favorite things that I've come up with, and I really, obviously like the 501st one we used to have, but I'm really stoked to get MandRshop.com on the road. I think it's going to be amazing. I think I'm going to be able to create some amazing custom minifigures and some fun collectibles, and of course some other things like apparel, and who knows what else it will turn into. I have some big plans for this thing. So I'm also trying to make the Lego Star Wars foil packs somewhat more readily available in the United States by importing them from Europe and selling them on my site, so you don't have to pay European shipping prices. But basically at this point it's just waiting for some back end stuff. But thanks for your interest, man, and yeah, I'm really stoked about this. This is really cool to me that this is where it's at now. But next question from Solomon Man. He says, hey Ryan, I built up about $500 of VIP points over the past few years to buy the UCS Imperial Star Destroyer. I'm pretty sure it's retiring soon, so I wanted to know when would be the right time to buy. So if you're using VIP points, waiting for double VIP points is kind of irrelevant because you don't earn VIP points on your VIP points. There's no double dipping. So yeah, your $500 there isn't going to be earning you anything extra. Now you will be earning VIP points on the $200 cash that you're spending. So you would either earn $10, or if you wait for double VIP points, you would earn $20 of VIP points. I don't really think it's worth waiting for that, especially because the way Lego sets retire is at some point they just go out of stock and then they're gone. You know, they don't always have this big retiring soon timer thing that tells you when the last day you're going to be able to buy it is. Sometimes that day comes and goes and you didn't know that it came and went. So what I would recommend to you is in the next 2 months, I would not wait any longer than the end of September. You know, pick whatever you see as your favorite promotional set that they put out, because Lego does the promotional sets, you know, pretty often, and just buy it then. And that's when you should buy it. I don't think there's any reason to wait for double VIP points or anything else. They're not going to put it on sale or anything. Like, buy it when you see the best promo set that you think you can get with it come out, and just leave it at that. Anyway, that's it for this Ask MandR. Make sure you guys do not miss my Whatnot live stream Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern, where I'll be giving away $1,000 of free Lego Star Wars sets, including some new Summer 2022 sets, and selling tons of retired rare Lego Star Wars sets starting at just $1. The deals could be insane this weekend for y'all. And again, that's all sponsored by Whatnot, so thank you to them for making it possible as well. Link below. Save $10 on your first purchase. If you have a question you want to answer on next week's episode, leave it down in the comments section below. And while you're there, hit the like button. Peace out.